What's up, everyone? It's Ohan. It's Friday or potentially Saturday by the time I edit and upload this. And this week we're talking about our hopes for 2017, otherwise known as New Year's resolutions. I tend to get discouraged about New Year's resolutions because I feel like if I set goals, then I'm really just setting opportunities for myself to fail. So let's cheers to that. Happy New Year. Happy opportunity to fail in the new year. Delicious. I love dry white wine. It's my favorite. Anyway, I actually didn't have to think too much about this video. The thought came to me when, unfortunately, the tragic news of Carrie Fisher's passing. I did not know really that much about her, and I didn't know how much she really advocated for people with mental health issues and people who struggle to oftentimes do the things they want to do the most. And so I thought for 2017, it's sometimes really hard for people to set goals, the things that we want to do that are the hardest to do. I don't know if you're on the same page, if you get me, if you do. So it was actually an interview with Elizabeth Johnson, Elizabeth Johnson is a staff writer for the Herald Tribune, and there was actually an interview between Johnson and Fisher, and so Johnson asks Carrie Fisher, what advice do you give people who are struggling with mental illness and are afraid to pursue their dreams? And Carrie Fisher's response is amazing. Carrie Fisher says, stay afraid, but do it anyway. What's important is the action. You don't have to wait to be confident, just do it, and eventually the confidence will follow. And I thought that was like so relevant to setting goals for the new year. The whole part, because I just sneezed before I'm disgusting. Hold on. Okay, feeling a little better. I also found that quote to be so relevant to transition, where it's like you don't have to be confident, just do it, execute the thing you want to do, and the confidence will come along with it. I thought that was a very wise and although I highly doubt she was referring to a gender transition, I think like any other want or goal, there's a certain amount of fear that comes along with it, and so it's not acting with the absence of fear, but it's acting actually with the presence of it, having those two things exist at the same time, and that's a very powerful thing, because if we wait for that to go away, then, I mean, at least me, I'll be waiting for my whole life, really. The specific things I want to do this year, I want to write more. I have this kind of growing work called The Story of Lev, and I post some excerpts on my Tumblr, like very few. It's pretty sad. It's a pretty sad story, but I enjoy writing it, and it's really special to me, and I want to continue with that. I don't know how, when, what it will become. Those, I guess, aren't the point, really, as much as me just spending the time I want to developing this character, who I think is amazing, and kind of like writing into existence this person. It's really fun and cool thing that I like doing. I want to take a lot of music lessons. I want to start playing violin. I've always wanted to do that. My mom played the violin when she was younger. I've just always wanted. I just think it's so beautiful, but I don't know, one, how to obtain one because they're very expensive, and two, where to practice because it's not really something you can just do in your apartment when you have neighbors with paper thin walls. So there are some logistical issues to whatever, that's a goal, to play more piano, play more guitar, do an open mic with my roommate because she's an incredible singer. What else? Start maybe doing, okay, small steps, start getting involved with stand-up comedy somehow, whether that's just going to more shows or writing some material. There's this one show I went to in New York, at the bookstore that I talk about all the time. It's called the Comedy Cunt Collective, and they're all about basically getting comedians together who are a minority in some way, not necessarily women. The last show I went to had maybe like 6 to 8 performers, and all of them but one identified as women, which was really cool. So you don't have to be a woman, but it's kind of just like underrepresented voices in comedy. Comedy just tends to be dudes, dominated by dudes, like the world. What else? Oh, as I crack my back to take care of my body, I've been going to the gym more. I've been building a lot of muscle, a lot relative to like where I started. Obviously nothing too wild. I've been trying to ignore chest acne. I've been trying to work out my chest so we can see where the revision should be, where the nips should go. My scars actually are a lot more faded than what you're seeing here. The lighting and everything makes them look like super red. Or maybe they do look like that in real life. Who the fuck knows? Okay, some people, like myself, have a problem with wanting things. I have a problem wanting things. I have a problem with the act of wanting. Why? Don't know. Probably there's some psychological, deep-rooted reasons. I haven't investigated them or spent time trying to understand them. I just know it's an issue and it's a problem, and that's why setting goals is something that's really difficult for me, because it implies that there's a want for something. And if there's a want for something, there's also the chance for disappointment and failure. And those are the things that terrify me the most. So setting New Year's resolutions is really easy for some people and really hard for some people, and somewhere in between for other people. I'm going to go with, for me, it's pretty difficult to just set any kind of goal. But then, at the same time, I feel like my life is stagnant and it's not really super fulfilling if I don't have any goals, because I'm just existing, I'm not working towards anything. And I digress. Also, just generally, to admit to myself that there are things I want out of this world that I'm going to have to get myself. The whole saying, ask and you shall receive. I need to learn how to ask for the things I want. I need to learn how to pursue the things I want instead of just waiting. And why do we do these things like wait? Because it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to put yourself in positions where you might be let down, where you might not get what you want, where it might take way longer than you thought it would. All those things suck. And are just not good feels, and I get that, and I live that every day. So yeah, I that's a big problem, I guess, and one that I would like to tackle in 2017, among other things. But I think for the most part, I just want to kind of build on the foundation that I've built myself this past year, which I don't want to ignore, because it's been definitely a year of learning and growth, and I want to build on the things I've been working on with my body, with fitness, and I just want to spend time with family and friends and good people and good company, and allow myself those kind of basic needs of life that I often don't prioritize as much as I would like to, or not nearly as much as I did this year. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Cheers again to 2017. Happy New Year, everyone. And I'll see you in 2017. All right. Bye.